Hello, it's Sydney Rose, and I'm back with another testing out paint pen / marker video. Today I'm going to be trying out the, not quite sure how to pronounce it here, but Wellokb, so Wellokb, I don't know, and then the Shuttle Art Markers against each other. So we've already done the Shuttle Art Markers before in a video, but these markers are very similar and I think they'll test well against each other. Since the Shuttle Art Markers are brush tip and you can see the paint inside here, I think they'll test well against the Well markers. I'm going to call them the Well markers for the rest of this video because the Well markers have a brush tip and a bullet tip. So I'm actually going to test the Well markers against the Posca as well in a later video, but this video I'm going to be testing them up against the Shuttle markers. So let's go. I first discovered the Well markers while I was researching for an acrylic paint marker that would be user-friendly for my art class so I could do a few acrylic marker projects with my students. This specific pack you can get on Amazon for around $32 and they are dual tipped. I did explain this in my intro as well, but this makes the markers very versatile and a good classroom acrylic paint marker. I was not familiar with these markers before making this video like I am with the Shuttle Art Markers. If you saw my first testing paint pen markers, you already know about the Shuttle Art Markers, but if you didn't, Shuttle Art reached out to me to make a few videos on my TikTok using their markers and sent me a kit. This specific kit can be found on my TikTok showcase or on Amazon for around $40 and it comes with 60 markers. Today I'm going to be trying out the brush tip side of the Well markers versus the brush tip of the Shuttle markers. Since they're both similar and both free-flowing markers, which means you don't have to activate the marker for the paint to escape the capsule inside, they're good to be put against the test for each other. As always, with using paint markers, I like to tape the edges of my paper down so I can have a clean border and so my paper won't curl. I decided to start with the Well markers for this experiment. I will be drawing the same layered paint pen smiley face design I came up with to test these markers against each other. I started with the purple marker first to draw my diagonal squiggle designs on my paper. Since the Well and the Shuttle markers are both free-flowing paint markers, you can color like you would with a regular marker without risk of the paper becoming too saturated because of over-activation of the paint marker. At the time of posting this will be my third testing paint pen markers against each other video, but I filmed many more and they're just waiting to be posted since I filmed so far in advance and I have them scheduled. But I have gotten so fast at drawing this design because I'm so used to it, which is honestly crazy to me. Same with all paint markers, I did 2 layers with each color to make sure they are opaque. The Well markers still appeared a bit streaky after the second layer, but they were opaque. I went in with a gray for the background of this piece because I wanted a muted purple vibe for the overall nature of the piece. The gray also seemed a bit streaky after I was done with the second layer, so I ended up doing some more layers on all of the color to try to fix the issue, but everything was still a bit streaky, so I have to chop it up to just being this marker. So straight up, that last voice recording clip was recorded in August. It is currently November 18th, so yeah. It's been a while. I bulk filmed a ton of these paint pen videos in one night, and if you've been following my YouTube, you know that a lot has been happening, so these videos got put on the back burner, but I'm finally getting back around to them, so hopefully I'll have them posted soon. This will end up being the first video I post about testing out the Well markers, and I will be testing them against the Royal, Posca, and Sharpie acrylic markers as well, and those videos will be posted sporadically across the next few weeks. With these, the Well markers, I just really wished I could get them to look less streaky, and they did okay after 2 layers, but up close you can still see the streaks, which is not my favorite look for paint pens, so layers are really the key with these. The more and more layers, the better. And you can see here that I had some issues getting the light pink to cover over the purple. I also find that with acrylic markers with brush tips, they don't layer and cover as well as acrylic markers with bullet tips do, but you can color them in like you would a regular marker, so as I say a lot of times, it really depends on the look you're going for with your specific piece. For the smiley face design specifically, I prefer the bullet tip after doing so many of these, and you will see those in the future videos. Since the Well marker is double-sided, I test both sides against different brands. Okay, and here is the finished piece with the brush tip of the Well markers. I like it. I'm just gonna say I'm not a huge fan of brush tips for paint markers in general, unless you're going for a more painterly vibe, but it's kind of hard to blend paint markers, so that's why I like layered pieces for paint markers. But I don't necessarily love how brush tips are always so thick, but what do you guys think? I think it brings a different vibe to it, and you know, that's just my preference. But let's go on to the shuttle markers and see how those test up against the well markers. Over time, the Shuttle Art Markers have become my favorite paint pens to use for different projects, but I still stand by my preference for this specific design that I like bullet tip markers better for it. I did my best to color match to the Well markers, and I think there are a lot of good matches in both sets. You can tell right away how much thicker the Shuttle Art Markers are than the Well markers because I only had to use 2 layers for this marker to get opaque. This is nice because you really don't want to have to keep layering and layering and layering your pieces just to get them to cover the paper, because that does take a lot of time and it can jeopardize the integrity of the paper because the paper will get more damp the more paint you layer on. You can eliminate a lot of the paper curling when you tape it down with painter's tape first, and this is probably one of my favorite artist life hacks, but it doesn't always work. With paint markers, it normally works, but if you get into other materials such as watercolor or ink, sometimes it crinkles a bit still after it's dry. Alright, and here is the finished piece with the Shuttle Art Markers with the brush tips. So, compared to the Well markers, I couldn't color match exactly. I tried, and you can see in the time lapse where I am like testing colors in the margins on the tape. But what do you think? Which one do you like better? And of course, I will put still photograph images here and explain some more. So here are the finished pieces, starting with the Well and finishing with the Shuttle Art. I do have to say I think the Shuttle Art wins this round because of how streaky the Well markers ended up looking. I don't hate the Well markers whatsoever, but for this design I liked it to look more opaque. I do think the Well markers would be good if you were drawing something that needed more texture, when the streakiness of the marker could be useful, such as drawing hair, where the Shuttle Art Markers are more opaque, so you'd have a lot more trouble getting those textures. After testing these markers, I did end up purchasing the Well markers for my students to use in the classroom to actually do the same design for a project, which turned out very well. I have their work posted on my Instagram, so if you're interested in seeing that, it's on there, and I'm so proud of how well they did. The reason I chose these was because there were a lot more colors for cheaper. However, next year when I'm making my budget, I think I'll probably look into getting markers like Royal or Posca markers, because the Well markers did dry up very fast, so we lost a lot of colors after using them. I wouldn't have known that, but at the time of filming this video, but after 20 students use one color of one marker, it didn't last too long, so that's something else to consider if you're looking into paint pens to purchase for yourself, or if you're an art teacher doing a similar project with paint pens. And if you're an art teacher and want to use this design for a lesson, or you're an artist just wanting to recreate this in your own way, please send me your results because I would absolutely love to see what you've created. But with that, we're at the end of the video. I have a lot of fun videos coming up, including more testing paint pen videos, and this weekend I'm going back to the SCAEA conference and we'll be vlogging it, and then on Sunday I'm going to the Ren Fair with some friends and we'll be vlogging that as well. So I've got a full weekend ahead and a lot more fun videos on the way. I also started my podcast and I've recorded 2 episodes at this time. The first episode will be airing on Monday the 24th at 5 Eastern Standard Time, and I will be posting episodes every other week. I got some of my coworker friends from my restaurant job to come in and we answered your questions on the first episode about the service industry. This podcast will only be on YouTube right now, so subscribe so you don't miss it. And lastly, thank you guys so much for 600 subscribers. I really enjoy this YouTube hobby and I'm glad I have you all with me. It means the world. I've focused mostly on TikTok for years, and I'm glad that I have expanded my social media presence to make memories with my friends and just romanticize life. And with that, do all the things that all the YouTubers ask you to do, so like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next Thursday. Bye!